What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on some comments that a lot of people making comments about Shedeur Sanders and his game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Stephen A. Smith made a comment. He said that he thinks that Shedeur Sanders, because of his performance, should start the rest of the season. Not just because of his performance this past weekend, but also because he really don't think that they have anything like a better option than Shedeur Sanders right now. So he said, at least give Shedeur Sanders the opportunity to see what he can, what he can do for the Cleveland Browns, right? And so, with that being said, I'm going to play some audio from First Take, and you got Stephen A. Smith on here, and you got Shedeur Sanders. And I want to make comments also, or react to what Shedeur Sanders had to say.
What do you hope to show against this Raiders defense, your teammates, yourself, and these Browns fans with your play today?
I'm who they've been looking for. Appreciate it.
I'm the one they've been looking for, and then he stood on business, leading the Browns to a 24-10 victory and snapping a 13-game road losing streak. Sanders also threw a 66-yard passing touchdown in the fourth. That was the longest completion by a rookie this season. He was also heavily pressured, took only one sack. Here was Shedeur celebrating after becoming the first Browns rookie quarterback to win his debut since the 1990s.
A win is crazy. It's amazing, off of 1 week of practice, you know what I mean? Just 1 week of practice. So imagine, what a full offseason look like. It get dangerous. But it's just a 1 week of practice. So I'm just truly thankful, that everything happened.
All right. So he said he the one they've been looking for. Also, he said with more opportunities, more workouts and stuff like that, chances to work with the first team here, he said that he probably look better or get better, right? I don't have an issue with his confidence. Some people do, they might see him as somebody who was arrogant, but pretty much I don't really have any problem with it. I know some people had an issue with that first statement, the statement that he said, "I'm the one they've been looking for," right? And so, what he have to keep in mind, or what Shedeur has to keep in mind, is that people, he don't want to give people bulletin board material, so he got to be careful with this, with putting a target on his back. But if he can back it up, then that's up to him.
Coming up here before y'all, 6-7 months ago, I couldn't tell you I'll be here. God, the only way I'm able to even get through everything, Nobody cares if this was 1 week of prep. Who cares? So a lot of people want to see me fail, and it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
Jamie Woody now.
All right. Now, I'm trying to think, do a lot of people want to see him? I know that Cleveland Brown fans they want anybody in there, any quarterback in there that can help them win games. So I don't think people want to see him fail. Not most people, I don't think, want to see him fail. Like I said, any quarterback that can come in there and help them win some games. I know Myles Garrett definitely don't want to see him fail. Myles Garrett, he probably like about 5 sacks away from getting that record. So, but Myles Garrett still wants to win, right? So I don't know. But I think this is something that Shedeur Sanders, the mindset that he has to kind of like motivate him, and so he used that. A lot of athletes do that.
Joins us here on First Take. And D Wood, I'll start with you first here. Look, let's be honest. The Browns defense was absolutely amazing in this game. They had 10 sacks on Geno Smith. But when talking about the quarterback, yes?
Just want to start to interject. Nice suit, Woody, for a change. Way to go. You may continue, Shay.
Okay. He's got his Thanksgiving vest on today. I'll give him that. 10 sacks on Geno Smith. So Browns defense really good. They did their job. But what did Shedeur Sanders prove to you in that game yesterday against the Raiders?
Well, he showed NFL traits in the game yesterday. You're talking about a guy who, arm talent was on display. I think Shedeur Sanders had 3 plays of 35-plus yards yesterday. The Browns all year long from their quarterback position only had 1. And so you saw the arm talent from Shedeur Sanders. And listen, it wasn't perfect by no means yesterday, but I was encouraged by, the no sacks, the minimum amount of sacks that he took with the amount of pressure that he was taking from the Raiders defense. Seemed like he knew where the moment didn't seem too big. He knew where he wanted to go with the football. And so those are building blocks, for Shedeur Sanders moving forward.
What do you think, Stephen A? What did Shedeur prove to you?
Well, listen, he proved that he deserves to be the starting quarterback for the rest of the season for the Cleveland Browns. That's what he proved. He proved that he deserves to be put in the lion's den and to find out what his true capabilities are, because certainly the Las Vegas Raiders are not the ideal test. They are horrible. I mean, horrible.
So bad. They are bad.
Chip Kelly is not the only person that should have been let go last night. You understand? And they lucky it's a home game, because if it was a road game, a legitimate argument could be made that they should be put on commercial airlines, Southwest or somebody. They shouldn't even be allowed to charter home. This is a bad team. This is a bad team all the way around.
Southwest
Southwest is an airline, man.
It's just the truth. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. Pete Carroll, God bless him. God bless him, because he's accomplished so much in his career. It's time, listen, we can't all work forever. Our days, it comes, all right? It's not there anymore, bro. It's just not there anymore. So let's just get that out the way. But you should do Sanders, and you connect with Bond after your right of you throw a wing pass and you get a 66-yard, another touchdown there as well. I give credit where credit is due to Sampson. It is. I give credit where credit is due, because obviously the first week was awful. 25% completion percentage last week when he came in. This week, 55% completion, 47 yards passing. This time, 2,209. A touchdown pass yesterday. Give credit where credit is due. It was really, really good to see him perform, for him to have the opportunity after a few days of practice, like he pointed out, to really, really showcase his skill. And then you look at him. He's bigger than Dylan Gabriel. He clearly has a better arm, can spread the field better, can throw the deep ball. Okay, so he showed you some of the things as to why we were talking about him coming out of Colorado before he fell to being a 5th-round pick. Here's the only thing that I did not like Kevin Stefanski hesitating, to say he'll be starting next week. You could have at least said that. It's ridiculous that he didn't say at least that much, even though we know he eventually will, because as I was watching Dio this morning, he said it accurately. There's no way that you could get away with not starting Shedeur Sanders. Cleveland will have, they'll have mutiny in that city if they don't put Shedeur Sanders back out there behind center this coming weekend. Outside of that, I also want to say this, and I want to piggyback off of what Rex Ryan said on Get Up this morning. Respectfully, we come from different perspectives. He is right when he says, you know what, when you win, it's us and it's we. When you lose, it's me. When you play quarterback in the NFL, that is true, Rex. But be fair, too. And I'm not saying he wasn't, but I just want Rex to have a different perspective. How many people come into the league and before they have a chance to pass gas, get scrutinized as much as Shedeur Sanders has been scrutinized? You have to take that into consideration as well, which will assist in why he said the things and came off the way that he did, because he's been taking a lot from a lot of people. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
Yeah. All right. So I want to say this, right? I do agree that Shedeur Sanders, everybody probably know that Shedeur Sanders probably will be the starter for the remainder of the season, right? But also, in that game against Baltimore, Shedeur Sanders, he did get in there, but he almost had one pass that could have tied the game up. So he didn't. I don't think he really played that bad in the Baltimore game. Despite his stats were horrible, but I wouldn't say horrible. Wasn't that good, but he was one pass away from tying that game up. That pass got knocked out of the receiver's hand in the end zone, and if that receiver had held on to it, we'll be looking at that game a lot different. And so the thing also too I like about this just shows, like, whenever you get an opportunity, you just have to make the most of it. And so if Shedeur Sanders can capitalize on this opportunity, no matter what he say or how much stuff he talk, he got to make sure he capitalize on his opportunity and put those coaches in a position where they don't have any choice but to play him. Like he said, like Stephen A. Smith said, if you don't place Shedeur this week coming up against San Francisco, if they had not announced that he was going to be the starter for that game, then you'd have had guys like Myles Garrett, probably Jerry Jeudy, and some of the other guys on the team just speaking up. And that's not nothing against Dillon Gabriel, but it's just a different energy right now for Shedeur Sanders. Even if he's not, like I said, even if like statistically he's not doing all, his stats don't look all that good. But if he got that confidence, that's what the team want. They don't want that's what they need. They don't want your quarterback, your leader, to out there looking like he's struggling, no matter what, because it's peaks and valleys in every game anyway. And sometimes you'll win an ugly game. Like you're gonna win games sometimes without having a high quarterback rating, and so, but you don't want to look like you're out there struggling, or you having a hard time, because now you're giving the defense the upper hand, and you're letting them know that you letting them see you sweat, basically. So the big test comes up this weekend with the San Francisco 49ers. I don't know if they're going to win or not, but if Shedeur Sanders can continue to at least energize the team, then I think you don't have any choice but to to leave him in there and just see if he can get better every week. And so I doubt that they go undefeated for the rest of the season. But if he play better and energize the team, and the guys like having him out there, then that puts the coaches in a position where they have to go, they have to play. So that's all I got on this. And with that being said, man, y'all make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.